Hi everyone, this is part 3 of coloring in Fairy Touch of Magic by Klara Markova. And I forgot to mention it in my first 2 videos, but this is for the hashtag. My Name in Color 2021, hosted by Pebblez Adult Coloring. And it's the nameplate pages. So I had forgot to mention that in the first 2, so I thought I better do it in this one so you guys know what this is going for. I'm having quite a lot of fun doing this. Spent a couple hours this morning at my neighbor's. The lady who helped me when I was doing my eye surgery and took me to all my appointments and stuff. Spent a couple hours at her place this morning. Took Wilson with me. Had a nice chat. Stole a couple of her chocolates. She's diabetic. She has chocolates for everybody who comes, which is very sweet. So yes, I had a nice morning. Now I can spend part of my afternoon here doing some coloring. Went on YouTube for just a few minutes to catch up with people, but I found myself just being irritated hearing voices, just as part of the illness. So I just knew it was time to, get out some crayons and do some coloring. May go for a walk later. May take Mr. Wilson so he can have some fresh air too. We'll see. Sometimes I kind of need to get out without Wilson, as I'm sure a lot of you can understand what it's like when, Wilson's a dog, but I understand that I understood what it was like when I had my son and home for days with a child, and you just need to get out with and have some adult conversation. Sometimes it's like that with Wilson too. Like, I need out. It's nice and sunny here today. I might go for a walk, or I just may take a drive and go down to the waterfront. Yeah, grab a Timmy's and just sit by the water and relax. Talked with my mom for about a half an hour this morning, and she's doing okay. My mom used to sew haute couture. That's how I got interested in sewing, of course, and stuff like that with my mom. And she's in her 80s, so she no longer sews. Not even for herself anymore. And it's been quite a few years since I've actually been able to sew, being ill. And, I mean, when you can't concentrate long enough to tie up your own shoes, it's probably not safe to get a sewing machine out. So I was telling her how I was feeling that I was feeling the need to have a needle and thread in my hand again. And she was quite happy, because I'm like her. When I'm well, I've always wanted needles and threads in my hand. That's, been part of my life since I was a very little girl. So I'm feeling the urge to make something. So what I've done is I've got a piece of, I forget what it's called, kind of like styrofoam board. You can get at Dollarama. We get at Dollarama around here. And I'm going to tape it to the wall with some 3M sticky stuff. And we'll just make some quilt blocks, and we'll just see what happens. I think that's good enough for that part of the tree. Trying to make the screen bigger by doing this. Oh my God. You can tell me. Do you know that I've actually done that on my television set? When I'm watching something, trying to make it bigger, and realize that it's not something you can make bigger. Yeah, I know. Too used to having a screen in front of me. Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Oh. His son's going to laugh his head off. It's good to laugh in these times. It's always good to laugh, but I think it's really important to laugh more now. I find myself putting, funny cat and dog videos on YouTube, and funny not movies, clips, on YouTube. Just things that will make you laugh. I mean, laughter is the best medicine, they say, and it's true. You can feel your spirits lift. I can feel my spirits lift. And just a better sense of well-being. So I'm sure if it helps me, it helps other people. Oh, I was talking to my friend Donna, like I was telling you this morning, and we were talking about dogs, because I have Wilson and she loves little Wilson. And she was telling me about her other dogs that she had through her life, and the things they do. And I told her, I said, you will never believe what I saw on YouTube the other day. It was, a 10-minute clip on cats being stinkers. Because they love causing trouble. They are so, I wish I wasn't allergic, because I'd have a house full of those things. But anyway, I said, it was kind of like from a security camera view of somebody's backyard. And they had a house, but it was all one level. And they had a big swimming pool out, you could see. And there was this black cat sitting on the edge, right on the edge of this swimming pool. I said, it was really cute. It was an awesome, this cat sitting there watching the water. And then I said, and then out of the corner of your eye, you can see this other cat, black, sneaking out of the house. They obviously belong to the same house. And there's this black cat, and you can tell when it's sneaking up on somebody 1 foot at a time. Well, it gets up to the other cat, and it pushed it into the pool. And then it ran back to the house. Oh my God. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. I just have to think about that one cat sitting there minding his own business. And all of a sudden, he's wet. God. Cats are troublemakers. I love watching videos of them when they're up on top of the fridge and they swipe at whoever goes by. Oh, hilarious. Oh, you put something on the table and they they knock it off. And they'll keep doing that. They'll just keep knocking stuff off. Oh. You must never get bored if you have a cat in the house. Dogs aren't like that. At least Wilson isn't. None of the dogs I've had have ever been like that. They just like to lay down and sleep. Maybe fetch the ball, do a few things like that, but, you know, they just want to be laying right next to you, even if it's 100 degrees outside. Sleeping away. And to tell you the truth, that doesn't bother me in the least. I've always had a dog, so I'm used to that. I'm sorry, I hit the camera there. I've got my head sideways so I can kind of do this little piece and side of my glasses hit. It's hard when something goes sideways and you know it's sideways. Get your big head somewhere. My big head. I've been enjoying doing these videos, this kind of like little series. I hope everybody who watches enjoys them too. Just gives me another outlet, I think. My sister picked up a diamond painting kit and she said she loves it. I'm not sure if I will or not. Right now I don't feel the need for one. I'm busy enough. I'm keeping myself busy enough, so I'll see. You know, there may come a time when I want to try it, so I never close my mind to opportunities or close my mind to different views and stuff like that. I'm always willing to do whatever it takes to keep myself healthy. But we'll see. What I'm doing here is I'm just kind of going around and putting dark. This is Castle Earth in the Lumi pencils. I love this color. This is my favorite brown. It's just my favorite. I just love this color. So I'm just kind of going around every edge. It's not a real sign and a real picture, so I can do whatever I want. Well, I can do whatever I want in any of my books. That's one of the important things to remember. You know, I can remember when I started watching on YouTube and seeing people doing pictures and how some of them were so beautiful, and I felt that expectation within myself that, you know, I had to do a perfect picture. And I know I've heard a lot of people talk about that. How that feeling of that they need to do a perfect picture or else they have to get another book, the same book, because they don't want to ruin that picture. I realized that that was, for myself, a very unhealthy way to think. Once I was thinking that way, I thought, this is not good, Pat. This is unhealthy. This was where you were when you were, you know, in the hospital because you broke. So how can I stop myself thinking this way, that I have to have perfect pictures or balanced pictures or whatever, or else I'll have to get that book over again. And it took a while to figure it out, but I have a coloring journal and stuff like that, like some of us do. And I put in the front of it, There were some curse words in there because I needed to do that. But I won't say any curse words, but I put in there, Pat, this is your book. You're coloring it. And you can color it however you want. You can make mistakes. It's your picture. You can just black this whole picture out if you want. It's your book. You can put poop on this page if you want. It's your own book. And I needed to go to that extreme to remind myself that, yes, this is my page in my book, and I can do whatever I want. There's no rules. I'm not taking a class from somebody or in school, that type of thing where there's rules. There's no rules. This is my book. I can do whatever I want with it. And I think what it basically is a reminder to myself that I'm doing this because it's fun, not because I want to be Vincent van Gogh. I'm doing this to relieve stress, not to become the greatest colorist in the world. And that's an important thing to remember. Being a person who was self-employed for many years, and my business, my trade, depended on me doing perfect jobs. Sewing, upholstery work, that kind of stuff, where, yeah, you want it to be as close to perfection as possible because you have people paying you for it. And that's good. That's good. That's a good work ethic. However, it's not a good ethic when you want to enjoy yourself and you don't want to take something seriously. So I found myself at the beginning of my coloring journey, of course, working 8 hours on a picture straight because I needed to get it done perfect. So it wasn't long before, like I said, I found myself, okay, I've got to do something about this. I'm not working anymore. This is something I'm doing because it's fun, because it helps me stay a little bit sane. I don't know if any of you have ever felt that way. I know a lot of you have expressed fear of coloring in some books because you don't want to ruin it. And I think that's probably part of it too, is the desire that you want it to be perfect so you don't wreck a book. And I understand that because there are some books that I have that my brain tells me, buy another book, Pat, because that one, when you die, your son is going to see that some of those pages in there are just ugly. And part of my brain, okay, yes, I'm going to give it. But I can't do that. That's not healthy for me. That's not healthy to do. So I have some books that have pictures that are just, oh yeah, they're bad, they're ugly. But it's part of my journey. Because I didn't start coloring, like I say, to be a perfect colorist. I'm coloring because I really like this picture. It's cute. And I want to make it cuter by applying the colors that I like to it. I hope I'm not boring anybody with this subject or insulting anybody or hurting anybody's feelings. That's not my intention. My intention is to explain my thinking process about my coloring. And maybe it'll open up some awareness for other people that, yeah, just have fun. Just have fun. Just color. Just color. Do you think I have enough dark brown in there? Maybe. This Castle Earth is just a beautiful color. It'll probably be used the most in my set of luminance. Probably be the first one that gets to a nub. My young neighbors are here today doing some more cleaning in their apartment. They're the ones that are moving out, so they're doing some cleaning. I can hear them in the hallway. I'll miss them. They're very nice people. I miss hearing the sound of that baby. Well, maybe whoever moves in will have a baby or a little child. Okay, Pat, let's see about another color in there. I don't want that reddish color. I didn't like that. Ouch. So, speaking of sewing, I've got a big barrel of fabric here that I took when I left and have added to. Being a sewer, I suppose, I'm like people who can't stop buying coloring books. If I see a piece of fabric, oh God, I don't think about what I can make from it. I just, okay, I want that piece of fabric because it's beautiful. I know, it's insanity, right? But I do have some nice cottons in there, so you know what? I'm going to make a little quilt. I'm going to make some little quilt blocks and hang them up on that styrofoam like I was telling you. So it's another one of those things that I get lost in. I can be sewing and look up at the clock and 5 hours have passed and it's not even felt like it. It's felt like 10 minutes. I probably got off topic and missed that point when I told you I was talking to my mom, and she was happy to hear that I wanted to get the sewing machine out and ironing board and stuff. Funny, I left 13, 14 years ago now. It'll be 14 years this year. And my son tells me that all my sewing machines are right where I left them. I have 5 industrial sewing machines there. Funny, eh? What I'm sewing on these days is, you won't believe this, is a sewing machine that my mom and dad bought in 1961 when we lived in France. And my dad was in the Air Force and we were stationed overseas. We were in France. I was just a couple of years old. And my dad bought my mom a faff, which are very nice. This faff is from 1961, and my mom taught herself to sew on that sewing machine. And she's sewn many, many beautiful items on that machine until she got an industrial. And like I said, she did haute couture. And a couple of years ago now, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, when she knew she wasn't going to be sewing anymore, even though she still has like her industrial and stuff like that, and a great big industrial serger and all that kind of stuff, she asked me if I want it, and I said, well, sure. Because when I left, I couldn't take any of my machines. They're just too big. You can't fit them in a car. And obviously nobody's going to help me move them. And nobody would want one in the apartment building. They're just way too loud. The one I have, it sounds like there's an airplane taking off. It's huge. So I said, sure, Mom. I just had, I don't know what kind. I'm not even sure. I just got it at Walmart. It was a $100 sewing machine I got, for hemming something, or if I needed to fix a tear or something. Just a sewing machine that was capable of sewing. So I'm using that faff again. And she had taken it to a place here, and it's a man who, that's what he does. He takes care of sewing machines, and he went over it and did a little bit of tightening and stuff. And he said, this machine is perfectly good. It will last for another 60 years. So, yeah, it comes in its own case, and it's heavy. So, I'm using that. Maybe someday I'll pass it down to my granddaughter if she wants it. We'll see. If the time ever comes when I don't want to sew. And you see how my mind works, is that quilting is just perfect for my brain. You know how you can mirror the block, and the seams are so precise, or else the seams won't match. So it just fills that desire to have pattern and repetition, and I don't want to say perfectionist, but close, because you want your seams to match and stuff like that. So yeah, quilting just does that for me. I've only made a few quilts in my life, but I love doing it. I made a quilt for my son when he left home when he was 21. He bought a house, and at that time I was doing upholstery, and I had taken some fabric off a couch to reupholster it, and he said, I like that fabric, Mom. I just love those stripes. It was a blue pattern, and it had stripes in it, and big, big flowers. It was like that decorative fabric that you see on curtains and stuff like that, only it was on this woman's couch. So on the back of an 8 or 9 foot couch, or even a 6 foot couch, there's a lot of material. And I saved it. And because he said he liked it. And when he decided to move out, when he was 21, I also saved my husband's blue jeans, mine, my son's blue jeans, and his, at that time, girlfriend's blue jeans. And I cut the legs so that the part that gives you the most material, that's what I had saved. And when he moved out, I made this quilt, and it's got all 4 of our blue jeans in it, in really beautiful squares. And the material that I had removed from this couch that he just adored, and of course I shouldn't say adored, he loved, and that went with blue jeans because it was all blues, and there was some dark reds and crimsons in there and stuff like that. So I made him, it's like a quilt for your couch. And for the backing, I used a flannelette sheet that had been on his crib when he was little. And I gave it to him, and he still has it. That was quite a long time ago, because he's 43. I think he'll be 44 this year. So it's quite a while ago now, and he still has it. That was my first quilt, and it was, of course, done on an industrial machine with the layers of blue jeans and stuff like that, but yeah. And then just a little while ago, I had a quilt where I had made flying geese and made a Christmas tree quilt that goes on your coffee table in the wintertime or at Christmas time or table. And I had it. I took it with me when I left because it was something that I really enjoyed, and it was something that cheered me up when I saw it. So this winter, when I came across it in my Christmas goodies, before we were locked down again, and I was at Steve's house, I gave it to him, and I said, thought you might like this, because he remembered it with some help. He remembered it from Christmas times. So it fit upon their coffee table just perfectly, because they have this, well, they're in a big, big house. They live on a farm. So they have a really big house, and really big coffee table. I swear the coffee table is bigger than my desk. And Wendy said, it's perfect, Pat. It fits just perfect. And she really liked it, so I'm glad I gave it to them. I told them it's probably the only thing I have left that you can remember me by, you know, to give you from when you were a child. So I'm glad I gave it to him. There really was no place for me to put it in here because it, you know, it did fit on a great big coffee table when I made it. But I did attach 2 little plastic rings to the back of it at one end so that you could hang it up on a door or a wall if you didn't want to put it on a table. So I would like sometime this year to get a pattern or a design idea for a quilt. I want to make my granddaughter a quilt for Christmas in 2021. And I've seen some pretty quilt designs, so I'm really hoping. Yeah, you guys have been in good frame all the whole time. Been busy talking. Wasn't paying attention to anything. Last 2 videos, I hardly said 2 words. And this one, I haven't stopped talking for the whole thing. I saw a preview of a flip through of, what's his name now? I'm such a ditz sometimes when it comes to name. It's like a menopause thing where you forget the word the. Oh, Kirby Rosanas. A Color with Claire did a flip through. Oh, if you get a chance, go see it. It's absolutely gorgeous. I've said before that I don't want to get multiple copies from one illustrator because I want to do the one book I have, you know. But I tell you, now that I've seen this book of Kirby's, oh wow, I want to do every picture I saw. Absolutely stunning. And a little bit different style for him. You'll have to go check it out. That's Color with Claire.